Welcome to my video today. Today I'm going to show you how I build my never-ending cards. These have been around for a while and they're very effective. In Australia we have had a very similar card that has been brought out by Woolworths as one of their rewards, and you can earn a selection of cards. And they just continue to go around and around. This is one that I did at Christmas time. Today I'm going to make one using the new Party Animal Suite, and let's get started. So you need a piece of cardstock. I'm using Tangerine Tango, and you need a piece of cardstock that measures 6 inches by 12 inches long. And I'm going to cut this into two 6 by 6 inch pieces. So when we have two 6 by 6 inch pieces, we are going to score each piece at 1.5 inches on either end. So I'll just go and do that now. Once we've scored our pieces, I'll just bring this up a bit closer. So once we've scored these at 1.5 inches either end, we're going to cut this across the score line. Okay, so we're cutting that in half. And we will end up with 4 pieces that look like this. They have got the 1.5 inch score line either side. Now we're ready to construct. To put your card together, it's very simple. We're going to butt these two up together so that the cut line meets in the middle and the score lines match up. Then we're going to take one of our other pieces, and having the score line and the cut going the opposite way, we're going to place that onto there. And using Fast Fuse, it's very important that we place adhesive only in this square here and here. So I'm just going to put a bit there. Now we need to make sure that we don't go over the score line. And take a bit of time with this to make sure that you get it right, because it will make all the difference to your finished card. So now, holding that in position, it makes it easy to line this one up. So I'm just going to line that up there. Push that down. Now I can remove that piece and put my adhesive down. Okay. Now in effect, our card is actually built. So what we've got to do now is train our score lines. So starting from here, we're going to fold these back and burnish. Now we're going to fold these back and burnish along your score line, continuing, and just train that paper, and you'll see that it will want to fold along those lines. And then back to the start position. You know it's back to the beginning position when both sides are flat. If you had it like this and you had a piece like that at the back, it still has another fold to make. Okay, now we can decorate. So we have 3 sizes of matting that we're going to use. Now the largest piece, which goes on here, that measures 2 3/4 inches square. Then we have our long pieces. They measure 2 3/4 by 1 1/4 inches. And our smallest piece, which are our squares, they measure 1 1/4 inch square. So I'm going to go along and place all my pieces down. Alright guys, sorry about that. I just found out that the video had stopped partway through while I was decorating, but I'll bring you up to speed with what I've done so far. All I've done is put my DSP onto my Pacific Point matting. Now I've left spaces, which is where I'm going to be putting my Whisper White, which will have some stamping. And as we go around, and take note that I've kept the orientation the same, so when it is in somebody's hands, they're not having to turn it every time, they're just flipping the layers around. And then we're back to the beginning. So now I'm ready to do some stamping. So I have a few pieces of Whisper White, which are the same size as this DSP here, which is 2 5/8, sorry, by 2 5/8 square. And I think I have left 4 places blank. We'll just go check. 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 blank. That's okay, we've got an extra in case we muck up. Now I'm going to use the stamp set that goes with the Party Animals suite. And this is the Balloon Adventures stamp set. And I might use Birthday Bright, we'll just see how we go. But we've got the Balloon Adventures. So when I decide on how I'm going to go about my stamping, I decide which sentiment I'm going to use first. So on the front panel here, I'm going to start with this sentiment, Open Me Already. Now I'm going to stamp that in Memento Tuxedo Black. And because we're using photopolymer, I'm just going to pop my Stampin' Pierce mat underneath. And roughly in the middle. There we go. And I'm going to put a few party streamers in the background. And keeping with the coordination, I'm going to use Pacific Point, Crushed Curry, Emerald Envy and Tangerine Tango. Okay, so streamers. There we go. So there is my front panel. Now onto here. So for my next panel, I'm going to use this sentiment here. Nobody deserves a happier birthday than you. And I'm going to again keep with the coordination, and I'm going to use my Stampin' Write markers to colour my stamp. Now, if you find that when you're colouring in your photopolymer stamps and they're brand new, and you find that they're not actually catching the ink, here's something that you can do, because when you stamp that, you don't get a consistent stamp. Using a regular eraser, take a clean dry stamp and just rub over your stamp. Now what that's going to do, it's going to give your stamp a little bit of tooth, a little bit of grip to hold the ink. So now when we come back with our markers, you'll see that the colour is going on consistently. And if I'm to stamp that, we've got a consistent uniform colour. Now don't forget to huff. And there you go. Now I'm going to take that streamers stamp that I used on the front, and I'm just going to put a couple of streamers on there. Now on our final Whisper White panel, I'm going to take this Party On sentiment and I'm going to stamp that on a piece of Tangerine Tango, just a little bit of a scrap that I've got, using my Tuxedo Black Memento. And what I'm going to do with that is also then stamp that with our banner stamp. And I'm going to fussy cut that out. Now behind that, I'm going to pop a couple of stream strings, which are going to be what I will have my balloons coming off. So we'll glue that down. And just popping a couple of dimensionals onto the back. And place that down there. Rightio. So with our balloons, we could either punch just using our balloon builder punch, which is this one, and punch them out of coloured cardstock, but I'm going to use this solid stamp here, and I'm going to create a few ombre or sort of 3D looking balloons. So we've got this stamp here. Now I'm just going to roll the edge of that stamp into the ink like so. So we've just got it around the outside, and then using my mister, I'm just going to mist it until the water and the ink starts to bead. See that? So then when I place it down onto the Whisper White, the ink will blend out and travel, and we have that effect. So to finish that off, I'm just going to stamp off once and then stamp over the top of my image, and I have this effect. So I'm going to go along and continue that. So when we've got our balloons stamped, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to hit them with a heat tool and then I'll punch them out with the punch. Now we've got our balloons punched out, the coordinating dies that go with the stamp set also have a range of balloon overlays. So I'm going to sit these over the top of my stamped balloons. Now that we have our balloons finished, it's just a matter of deciding where they're going to go. Keeping in mind that they need to stay within the square. So there you have it. It is a very simple construction to a very complicated looking card. I hope this is something that you feel that you can try yourself at home and to give it a go. Let me know how you go with it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay crafty. Bye.